Hi, I'm Darrin Pfeiffer, and you're watching The Red Booth.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. Welcome to The Red Booth Show. On tonight's episode, I have musician Darrin Pfeiffer. He is the drummer for Goldfinger as well as Sum 41, and he has his own radio show too. So come and join us. So, hey Darrin, how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on your show. This is great.
Thanks for coming. I'm excited to have you here today.
My pleasure. We ordered a milkshake. Is it coming?
That's after the show.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I have been checking out a lot of the different things you've been doing, and I know, well, for one thing, you're a musician, you're a drummer, and you have played with some pretty great bands. And also you are in the media too, so you have a radio show and you do a lot of different things. So this is a pretty cool episode, I think, because you touch on so many different areas in what you do.
Well, 22 years, drummer for Goldfinger, started in 94.
That's pretty cool.
And here we are now in 2016. We've slowed down significantly, the band Goldfinger has, because our singer, John Feldman, has become a very accomplished, very sought after, very successful studio engineer and producer. So he's in the studio 11, 12 months, 13 months out of the year. The guy is constantly just recording music and finding bands and doing A&R work. So it's hard to get Goldfinger on the road or play a show at all, period. So it leaves me a lot of time to do various other things, like play in other bands like Sum 41 or do a lot of session work around town or produce bands. Or I have a record label in Canada I run called High 4 Records, so I put out singles and
that's really cool.
I work for the Kings.
And the Sum 41 too, isn't that amazing? That's so cool that you also play with them as well.
Yeah, they have a drummer named Frank Zumo, and when he can't do it, I slot in, and I know the set, so it's just an easy transition, no rehearsing, just show up and play.
Nice.
And I write for Los Angeles Kings. I do a blog for AM 570 called Kings Corner.
Go Kings!
That's right.
Woo-hoo!
That's right. They're struggling right now. They're having some troubles, but they're gonna get it together. And I have a Dangerous Darrin Show podcast on Adobe Radio.
Cool.
It's called the Dangerous Darrin Show. Me and my friend TS, we have guests and we sit around and drink and goof off, and then we play music. We have a few drinks. We have a few laughs, and it's a lot. I think it's important for a musician these days, especially now with record sales falling over the last several years, with streaming and pirating and internet and whatnot. I think it's really important for musicians to really diversify. Get into writing, get into session work, get into acting if that's your thing, get into whatever. Just don't rely so heavily on being a guitar player or a bass player or a drummer, or write music. Start a record label, like start a blog, start a podcast, start a TV show. Just keep moving forward. And that's my mentality. Keep moving forward. Every single day the only day I really take off is Sundays. So it's like I just love my football.
That's when you watch football.
I watch
right.
football all day long. It's great.
Well, that's really cool that you've done so many things and also continue to work in music as well. And I thought I would ask you a bit about how you got started in the music industry, because you've been doing it for a while. So
yeah, I started playing drums around 11, 12, a little bit late actually. I know a lot of guys who started when they're 8 or whatever.
Really?
So I started a little bit late, but I took.
What did your mom think about that?
She loved it. I was a
Really?
hyperactive kid. I couldn't. I've been on set for an hour now, and you've seen me being a jokester. I was like that as a kid. I couldn't stand still. I always had to make a joke or get into something or break something or steal something. I was always a little mischievous, little Bart Simpson kind of guy. El Barto. So when my mom when I told my mom I wanted to play drums, she was thrilled. Like most moms would be like, really, drums? No, she was like, okay, yeah. She got my drum set, and I actually picked it up pretty quickly. I started playing beats and grooves and playing along to rock and roll, like Led Zeppelin and Van Halen songs, and Clash. And I play along to these records. And my mom was like, she always told me.
You just taught yourself?
By myself, yeah. She's like, you're getting pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks. She's like, no, you're actually getting. And my brothers and sisters, I got 3 brothers and a sister. Like, you're getting pretty good, Darren. Like, we don't find your drumming annoying at all anymore. The annoying phase was very short-lived.
That's good.
And the other thing was my mom would say to me, I know where you are at all times. when you're drumming 8 hours a day.
True.
I know that you're not breaking into the neighbor's house. You're not stealing a car. You're not breaking windows or something. You're in the room playing drums. But before that, it was like I just wanted to cause mischief.
Hey, well, that's a good way to cause mischief in the safety of your house. Mm-hmm. And actually, we have to take a quick break, but we will be right back with Darrin Pfeiffer.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking, and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need to call Credit Repair Pros. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average significant improvements in their credit scores month after month. Start rebuilding your credit score today. Call now to start building a higher credit score to help you get the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-308-7306. That's 1-800-308-7306.
Hi, Kathy Mitchell here with my new red copper cookware. The revolutionary pan made with non-stick ceramic and super strong copper. Guaranteed to stay scratch-free forever. It's lightweight yet super strong, so it won't scratch, peel, or chip into your food. Red copper is a baking pan with a handle that goes into the oven up to 500 degrees. And everything slides right out. Cook my healthy, crispy chicken fingers with little or no fat or oil. Chop steak and onion for a melty Philly cheesesteak. Absolutely no sticking. Or whisk eggs without a mixing bowl. Truly a time saver. Call now and receive my 10-inch red copper pan for just $19.99. Plus, get my recipe book free. Call now and you can double the offer and receive a second set. Plus, our new Forever Sharp copper knife. Just pay a separate fee. Razor sharp and food slides right off. An incredible value. Call now.
Call 1-800-488-9190 to get your special offer, Red Copper Pan. Call now or go to redcopperpan.com. So call 1-800-488-9190. Call now.
And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. We are here with musician Darrin Pfeiffer. How's it going?
Going great, thanks.
Good. Well, I shouldn't just say musician because you also do a lot of other things. But right now we're telling your cool story about how you got into the music business. And as a drummer, as a young child, you learned how to play. And then what happened from there?
I learned how to play drums and got pretty good at it, I think. And I was living in Buffalo, New York, which is not a big music haven. It's actually the armpit of the United States of America. And I had to...
Really?
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been?
You mean there's not a lot of musicians there?
No, there is. It's just, if you've ever been, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it was either New York City to the east or Los Angeles to the west. And I've been to New York so many times, and I loved it because it was New York City. Wow, I'm a teenager in New York, and I'm playing shows at CB's and all this cool stuff.
You played at CBGB's?
Yeah, all
no
the time.
Way.
Yeah, but I never wanted to live there.
That's crazy.
It's just so condensed and I always thought I was being engulfed by buildings.
Yeah.
I had no elbow room. And then I went to LA. My friend's like, come to LA, man. You can stay with me for a week and you can find a job and you'll find a band, no problem. I was there.
Who was that?
A friend of mine named Pat Finn, this very, very accomplished bass player, who was actually the first bass player in Weezer.
Oh,
the very
really?
first bass player, yeah. Then he quit and they brought in Matt Sharp and then created Weezer. So I lived with Pat for a week. I got a job at Guitar Center on Sunset. Right across the street from where I was living, and I found two bands to join within 1 week. I go home, I go, Mom, I'm going to LA. She's like, I figured.
Yeah.
Well,
if you're trying to find a band, I mean, working at Guitar Center is probably a good place to go.
Yeah, I was also drumming too when no one was around, and people came in and go, Wow, you want to play my record, or do you want to join? Come to my jam. Yeah. So you met a lot of cool people, and then I met one of those guys was John Feldman, and John was in a band previous called Electric Love Hogs that had gotten a little bit of success and then fallen off, and they got dropped by their label. And then he showed me these songs, and I was floored. And Green Day would just come out with Dookie, and these songs were kind of like power pop, punk, power pop.
96?
94.
90, okay, I was close.
94.
I was close.
And he was like, check out these songs and let me know what you think. And I heard them, and I was like, holy hell. I called him up like, yeah, let's jam. And we jammed, and we became really close, and he just kept churning out song after song after song. And one song was better than the next. And we got noticed by a record label called Mojo, which was on Universal.
Okay.
Worldwide global distribution, videos, and then we were signed and on tour. Like, it happened so fast. Like a blink of an eye. We had a record label, we had a manager, we had a
How many songs
company.
had you put out before the Mojo guys came to you?
Nothing. We had one demo.
What?
We had one little demo.
Okay.
Demo tape. Remember those?
Yes.
And they loved
People used
it.
to hand out demo tapes on Hollywood Boulevard. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I was one of those guys on Hollywood Boulevard. And we were just called Goldfinger, and we handmade every tape, and we handed them to people. And one of those guys was Green Day, and Green Day heard it and at their show in downtown LA, and they loved it. And I don't know if that helped, but we got signed, and Universal Records came calling, and Mojo and Universal worked together, and it was worldwide. We went crazy. We had a song called Here in Your Bedroom that did very, very well.
Okay.
The single, the video did very well. Well, next thing you know, we're on tour with No Doubt, we're on tour with Sex Pistols, we're on tour with all these great 311, all these great bands touring around the world. We toured, in that first year, we did 387 dates or something like that in 365 days. So we played more shows than there are days in the year.
That's
We did
crazy.
3 show days. We did 2 show days. Our days off were fly days. Like, we fly to Japan, land, and most bands get acclimated for a day.
Yeah.
We went right to the venue.
Wow.
Airport, venue in Tokyo. We're all like this.
And this was with No Doubt, too?
Oh, yeah, we toured with No Doubt.
They were so big at that time, too. I mean,
Yeah.
they're still huge, but, like,
That's
you
the
know,
Tragic
that was-
Kingdom record, too.
Yeah,
That's when
that
they were
was
on their way
big,
up.
like, huge.
So the venues got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was just, we became friends with that band, and it was pretty whirlwind. And then John discovered producing. He discovered that I'm not only a songwriter, I'm pretty good at recording bands, and we slowly started to get to where we are now, and John is focusing exclusively on his recording career, and Goldfinger is more of a hobby at this point.
I think, since you guys traveled so much and did so much touring, like, don't bands get burned out on doing that after a while?
Yes and no. Touring is one of those dual-edged swords where you're on the road and you're like, oh, I would love to just go home for a week and see my animals or my wife or my girlfriend or my buddies or, go to a Kings game.
Yeah.
Then you get home and you're like, you're home for 2 days and you sleep for those 2 days straight.
Yeah.
And you wake up and and your girlfriend's or your wife's at work and you're like, I really wish I could go on the road. You hate being home.
Oh, man.
You're sitting there watching TV, you're like...
You're bored.
You're bored. Yeah, you're bored.
Well, we have to take another break, but
Cool.
we will be right back with Darrin Pfeiffer on the Red Booth.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need to call Credit Repair Pros. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average significant improvements in their credit scores month after month. Start rebuilding your credit score today. Call now to start building a higher credit score to help you get the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-308-7306. That's 1-800-308-7306.
So, you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So, pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid. Your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's Independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-466-0560.
Independence U for an independent you.
Call 1-800-466-0560.
And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. We're here with Darrin Pfeiffer. How's it going?
Awesome.
Cool. Well, so you're talking about going on tour and then what it's like when you come home, and because it's, the idea of getting burned out on going on tour. I mean, they must have been on tours for years.
We toured a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. And then, like I said, it slowed down. And
we're talking about Goldfinger, by the way.
Goldfinger, yeah. And when it slowed down, I started to get into other things like merchandising.
Right.
I started really seeing that merchandising is never going to go away. It's never going to slow down. Touring might slow down. Sales might slow down. Syncing opportunities like video games and movie trailers. So those opportunities might slow down. But bands will always need to sell stuff on tour and online.
That's actually really cool because bands, I think, tend to make most of their money from merchandise. Isn't that true?
Nowadays.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. It's one of their biggest revenue streams. So I got into that. So I took the merchandising part of Goldfinger very seriously. I found out the trends, what's selling, what's not, what colors are hot, what fabrics, what brands, what garments, what printing styles are hot. I looked at bands that had successful merch and said, what do you do? How do you do it? And I befriended them, and I was like, and then they tell me what's going on. I worked with different merch companies like Kill the 8 in Canada and Merchwide in LA here, and I got into it, and it's been it's a hobby, but sometimes it's sink or swim, feast or famine. Sometimes I'm making crazy amounts of money, and I'm like, this is great. Other times, no one will return my call. I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's the same with recording work in LA as well. Sometimes you'll get one session leads into 3 more. Next time you're like, oh, it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I'm not getting any calls. And you'll call everybody and go, hey, do you need a drummer? And they're like, nope. Pretty good right now.
Yeah, but session work's pretty good though because from what I understand, once you sort of get onto that list, you can make a really good living doing that, right?
Yes, there are the A-list guys and the B guys, and I'm more of a Z guy.
Oh, come on.
No, I know a few producers in town that give me a call. Most of these sessions are commercials, TV commercials. I've played on a couple singles, a ghost recording, which is when the drummer leaves and they're like, hey, great job, man. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. And then I sit down and listen to the track and play it exactly the way he played it, but better.
Oh.
All the fills, all the stops, all the starts, but just clean. And I've done that a few times. And they make me sign waivers, you can't, non-disclosure.
Say who it was, yeah.
So you can't talk about it on social media or anything like that. So.
Yeah.
And then hockey. I've always been a big hockey fan growing up in Buffalo. Big hockey community, Buffalo, and the East Coast and the weather and whatnot. And I lived in Canada for a long time, and I became a Kings fan. I became a Sabres fan, obviously. But when I moved to LA, I went to all the games. I was a Gretzky fan.
Okay,
and I actually wrote music for the Kings. I worked for them for 4 years.
Okay.
They employed me to write music for the arena.
Really?
They skate on the ice, the song. They skate off the ice. If they needed a goal, they had a rally song. I wrote that.
I actually had a guest on the show, and his band, The Briggs, Joey Briggs, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
His song is being used by the LA Kings.
Yep. Yeah, they play it after every goal or at the end of every game now. Yeah, It's a big, how's it go? Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Beyond the home. It's really catchy and cool. A lot of fans love it. So.
Yeah.
So now when I came back to LA, all my Kings contacts were gone, and I finally infiltrated back into. I work at iHeart Radio. I work as a producer for Alt 98.7 and AM's 570s.
I actually really like Alt 98.7 nowadays. It's changed a lot from what it was before, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's doing really well numbers wise, and I mean K-Rock is K-Rock, and everyone loves K-Rock, but it all seems to be climbing to the top of the mountain. Actually, they are there, numbers wise. But I became friends with the guys at AM 570 and said, let's talk about the Kings. They're like, well, the Kings don't move the needle. I go, I'll do a blog, I'll write it, I'll post it, I'll do everything I can do. All I want is a press credential. That's all I want.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay me any more money.
Yeah.
They're like, okay.
Yeah.
So I got the press credential. I get to go to the
deal.
games. I get to, I gotta look nice when I show up. And I'm hobnobbing.
He's going after the show, by the way.
Yeah, I'm hobnobbing with the players. I'm meeting all the GMs and coaches, and other press guys from around LA and around the world, really. And it's just an absolute joy. I just wish the Kings were playing better, that's all.
They will be.
They will.
That's right.
They're going to win the cup this year.
They will.
And we'll have it right here. We'll bring it right here.
Gotta love the Kings.
Gotta love the Kings. And hockey's always been part of my life. So
I have to tell you, I've been a Kings fan since way before they like had their big win, and I was so happy when they finally like brought it home. And I think being a girl, some people thought that I was probably like just bandwagoning, but like ever since probably since the 90s, I was always like rooting for the Kings.
Did you go to the games at the Forum?
I have been to the games. I've been back in like 99 and 2000 and like way back in the day. I used to go to the games a lot, but I haven't been lately, but I really do.
I'll take you to a game.
Cool.
We'll go to a game.
Score.
If you don't mind sitting in the press box.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. I mean, I'll put up with it, okay?
It's free food and drinks up there. That's another great plus.
That's pretty cool.
Like all the food, like pizza and pops and sodas and coffees and snacks.
I can't eat any of that stuff.
Yeah, neither can I, but I do anyway.
Well. Now, you have your show on the radio that you do, and why don't you tell us a bit about that?
It's called the Dangerous Darrin Show. It's on Adobe Radio. It happens every week, and I've got some really cool guests on the show, like Chino from Deftones and Tony Hawk, and I got Kiefer Sutherland coming on.
Nice.
Gwen Stefani said she'd do it, although she has yet to call me. Call me, Gwen. I got Wayne Gretzky said he'd come on.
And call me too, by the way.
Yeah, call her as well. So yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It's called the Dangerous Darrin Show. It's on Adobe. The King's Corner is the King's blog I write for AM 570. You just go to AM 570's website.
Right.
And click on King's Corner. It's under the on-air tab, and then it's right there. It's pre-game, post-game, and then I tweet during the games,
Sweet.
Like goals. And
I know so many people that are Kings fans, and I'm going to totally tell them about that so they can go check it out.
Yeah, it keeps me busy.
Yeah. Okay, good. And so the Dangerous Darrin thing, that's separate from 98.7, right?
It is.
Okay. But it's on Adobe Radio. So what is that about? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Adobe Radio is a podcast network,
okay.
Like Westwood One's Podcast One or Earwolf, or there's a number of them out there right now. I think iTunes has their own podcast network as well. It's just a podcast network, and its numbers are great. And my numbers keep getting bigger and bigger, and I'm getting a lot of listeners, and I'm getting advertisers now. And it's just it was started as a fun show with me and my friend TS.
Yeah.
And we just talk about music and pop culture, and we play music and we joke and laugh the whole time we're drinking. So by the end of the show, it gets pretty bananas.
Sounds great.
I mean, it's not crass. We're not obnoxious or rude or anything like that. It's above board, but we get pretty nutty sometimes.
I can imagine if you're drinking on the show.
We'll do shots. We'll take shots in between segments.
Oh
on
my
air.
God. Now, I'm kind of like an advocate of like, well, I like to promote the idea of like less drinking. So it's kind of an interesting thing that comes up with people because I've actually had people talk to me about drinking on my show, like on set. Mm-hmm. But I can't imagine doing that because like I think I would just become a complete imbecile if I was like drunk on set.
Well, I mean, I'm 230 pounds. It takes a lot of alcohol to get me drunk.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If I'm drinking beer, I can drink beer literally all night long.
Really?
Oh yeah. If I'm doing shots, then I have to watch what I'm doing.
Oh my God.
Road gets a little bumpy then.
Well, let's talk about your band, Sum 41, that you've also played with. Do you want to tell us about how that
right before
about?
Derek had his incident where he went into the hospital and almost lost his life. Fortunately, he didn't from drinking. And he had a lot of...
that's what I'm saying.
He had a lot of problems. Before that, me and him were jamming. And when he came out of it and started Sum 41 again, he had a guy, another drummer, and his name was Frank Zumo. Great drummer, great guy. He couldn't do some shows because he's busy with some other bands. And they called me, and I filled in. And there's supposed to be some more shows coming down the pipe that Frank can't do. And I'm going to just slot myself in and play. I've known the guys forever. We've toured all over the world together, Goldfinger and Sum 41. They're from Canada, which I lived there for 10 years in Toronto. So they were my neighbors. So we hung out all the time. We played hockey. We always went to all the shows together. So it's like playing in a band that are my friends and song and music that I love playing, like that metal punk hybrid, which I love. Mm-hmm. So it's right up my alley, and the shows are huge, and it's just, and I get paid. It's one of those things where I get paid to have fun.
Yeah. I
just can't believe it when a check comes in the mail. I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. It's like radio. Like when you get paid to do radio, it's like, I would do this for free. Like, why are you paying me? You don't say anything. It's a blessing. Life is a blessing. You know, this show is a blessing, and everybody's got to like try to find the positives in life, and I have a lot of them. So I'm really lucky and really blessed to have the life I have.
Yeah, you definitely have been doing some really fun and amazing things, and I think it's very important to find something that you love and, you know, make that your job. So that's pretty cool. You've done that.
Yeah, and I know, like, as you know, I'm sure you have lots of friends, and I have two that complain constantly about their jobs. I go to work every day and I hate it, and I'm like, well, I hear them on. I'm like, oh, that sucks, man. And in my head, I'm like, I love my job. I love everything about it.
Well, you know, it takes following that path to get to where you want to be, you know. So that's the artistic path as well.
Well, when I was a kid, it's funny, you're going to laugh. When I was a kid, I remember I wanted to be a sniper. I saw these movies of these like guys were sitting in the buildings on, you know, covered in dirt and no one could see it, and they just picking off the enemy. I was like, that looks like so much fun. I told my mom, like, I want to be a sniper. And she's like, cool. And then when I came to her, I was like, I want to play drums. She's like, oh, thank God. He's not going to be a sniper / serial killer.
It turned out better.
It turned out okay.
Yeah.
But I have a buddy of mine who actually was in the Army as a sniper. And so he's told me all the war stories of being a sniper. And it's pretty awesome.
Oh, my God.
But I'll never get to live it. So stay
No.
lovey. I'll live vicariously through him.
Well, at least you don't have to deal with that, honestly. It probably sounds more fancy than it actually is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He said he'd have to wait for days and stay awake for days, looking at one target, waiting for someone to come out of a building, and he couldn't fall asleep, even though he desperately wanted to fall asleep, but he had to keep his eyes open.
Otherwise, he might die. That's
no,
freaky.
otherwise he might miss his target.
That's just freaky.
So.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're a drummer.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm glad that you played in Goldfinger for so long, and that you've been a part of Sum 41, and it's really cool. And people should definitely go and check out your radio show. And
yep, it's called A Dangerous Darrin Show on Adobe Radio. You can just Google either one; it'll come right up. Or King's Corner.
Yeah.
With K's. King's Corner with a K. Corner with a K. And it's at AM 570's website, one of the two sports stations here in LA.
Yes.
And I cover the Kings, but I do it in a very fun way. I don't just I bring up pop culture references. I crack some jokes.
Nice.
Again, it's not crass or unintelligent. But it's done in a way that's different from the normal, boring sports reporting.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Everyone should definitely go and check that out. And it's been really cool having you on the show today, Darren.
This was a blast. I loved it.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Anytime.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. And we'll have to tune in, and I'll be checking out your stuff too as well.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay, great. Okay, good.
Follow your lead again.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Darren. It's been really great having you and hearing, more about, your whole career and everything. It's really awesome.
Well, thanks for having me on. This has been a blast. I can't wait to come back. And that milkshake, we got to find our waiter.
Yeah, she's really late right now.
Really late. We got nothing. We don't do silverware and nothing.
Well, and I'm also going to be checking out your show as well and, seeing what's happening with the Kings, of course.
We're going to go to a game.
We are. We're going to go to a game,
Totally
guys.
going to go to a game.
I'm going to take pictures. It's going to be cool.
It's always a lot of fun. Dress warm.
Oh, right, because it's freezing
It's
there.
cold, yeah.
I know. All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks again for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you for watching Darrin Pfeiffer on
The Red Booth.